Okay, so here's the deal. If you can't understand me, that's fine. Just glean what you can glean. I know some of the stuff I say is different, but it's different for a reason, because it's outside of the flesh mind. It's the spirit mind. Today I told somebody 60-some years old, I said, do you understand the more things change, the more they're the same? And he said, the more things change, the more they're the same. Yeah. Now, what is that? He acknowledged it. He agreed with it. The older you get, you're going to agree with it. What does that mean? You say, how is that possible? The more things change, the more they're the same. The more things change, the more you're awakening to the inner man that everything is the same. Example. When you chew your food, there's different colors: red, greens, tomatoes, corn, yellow, different colors of food. And so when you chew it, you're turning it over, you're cutting it and you're turning it. In your mouth, in your stomach, it's being turned. You're chewing the cud, like a cow chewing the cud. Now, as you chew that food, it's different colors, but it comes out the other end the same color. Almost every time it's the same color. How is that even possible? The more things change, the more they become the same. As you turn these, like this intersection here, as you turn this over in your mind, you'll say, okay, well, there's another intersection over there. It's the same. You turn that truth over in your mind, you realize this intersection is the same as the next one, the next one, the next one. That telephone pole is the same as that one, that one, that one, that one. And so as you see the changes of reality, the dispensations, the way people act, the way you can actually see knowledge exponentially growing. This is how Paul was able to see this. He went back to source. He went to source code. So the more things change, the more they become the same. You might say, how is that possible? Because the flesh mind, the spirit mind is counterintuitive to the flesh mind. You can't understand it in the flesh mind. It's impossible to understand that in the flesh mind. But I just showed it to you. Even though I showed it to you, you can't understand it in the flesh mind, because it's a spiritual truth. All this stuff is archetypes. All this stuff is pattern after the Pa. All this stuff, the ark, Noah's ark, saved 8 people. Jesus saved those who believe. Everything happened at the cross, and Jesus is always a savior. So as you see times change, nations or whatever, you see the same patterns repeat. And then as you step back from it, you say, oh, I've seen this before. And if you've seen it before, what does that mean? It's the same. You see a lot of changes in politics and all, but it's already happened before. The virus has already happened before, 1918. Maybe not the exact same virus, but the same pattern, same concept. Your grandparents, your parents, your children, your grandchildren, they all go through the same stuff. You'll hear that from your mom or somebody. They'll say, that's what my mama went through, and you're going through the same thing. That's what I went through, and you're going through it. Yeah, because everybody follows the same pattern. The more things change, the more you become aware of it. And you say, this is repeating. Even though it changed, it's revealing that it's all the same. The more things change, the more they become the same. You say, well, what about phone tablets? The changes in the phones and the technology. Well, They had technology back, and they would take their little cursor, the wood stick, stylus stick, and they would poke into the tablet, the clay tablet. Your phone's still called a tablet. Why is it called a tablet? Because it's the same. It's changed, but it's the same. You're still typing. You're still sending a message. The clay tablets, they were sending a message out 2,000 years. Your cell phone, you're sending a message out instantly, but it doesn't last as long as the clay tablet. What do you think about that? Technology is actually going in reverse in a way, because the knowledge doesn't get passed on necessarily, because if your phone breaks, you can't pass it on. You got to have the cloud, and the cloud. What if the cloud breaks down? What if your cloud server breaks down? You have to have it on a hard disk. If you put it on a hard disk, what happens when it gets rusty or dusty or scratched? You know. But they take the clay tablets and they put them in a mountain and cover them up. And 2,000 years later, people pull the clay tablets out and read them. As there's nothing new under the sun. So if there's nothing new under the sun, the more things change, the more you're able to see it's all the same. You just have to be aware of it. You have to be observant. I don't know if I can say this word. I tried to say it yesterday and I couldn't say it. Cognizant or cognizance. You have to have some cognizance about you. You have to be aware. You have to be awake. You have to be alert to be able to see it. All this this traffic. You know how many times I've been down this highway right here? Ain't no telling, but a lot. I don't even like this highway, but I have to go down this street a lot. I mean, it's a nice highway, but it's kind of boring. There's really nothing exciting about this little strip. The same stuff over and over. So how do you keep it exciting? How do you keep it new? How do you refresh your inner man? You set your affections on things above, not below. Because if you set your affections on things below, you're going to get so bored with this place. It's not even going to be fun. You're going to be so bored, you're going to be like 10 years in midlife crisis. Why do you think people go into midlife crisis? They've seen it all. And instead of them getting spiritual, they try to live it up in the flesh before they get too old. But it actually does them more harm, because that's God's way of waking them up. Midlife crisis is God trying to wake people up, but people, instead of them running to God and seeking truth, they run to the world more and more and want to live it up one last time. And that's why they end up divorced and everything else later in life. The grass has got to be. I didn't get to do that. I want to go over here. I want to fly here. I want to travel here. I want to do this. I want to date a foreigner. I'm bored with my present situation, so I got to have something exciting. You're destroying your own soul. God is allowing that midlife crisis to wake you up. But you would rather destroy yourself and your soul and your heart and your mind and even your emotions. You want to destroy yourself instead of running to God. You might say, well, I didn't get to accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish in life, God. It's not fair. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. Like a little child, like a little baby. Sons of God, daughters of God. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do in life. Well, there's a lot of people who die at 20. A lot of people who die at 30 or 40 or 10. Some people don't make it past 10 years old. They die in the womb. A lot of people die in the womb. They didn't get to experience any of this. But it's not even about that. It's the experience down here in the cycle repeat is to birth in Christ in you, the hope of glory. The Christ mind, the mind of Christ. I'm telling you this. No guru is going to tell you. They're gonna tell you something similar. Simulation. They're gonna tell you something similar. SIMUL, Underwriters Laboratory. But they're not gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna try to tell you that you can be God. You can create your own fantasy island world. You can sow seed, but God has a path for you, and God has a destiny and a calling. The secret is not trying to create your own reality, but finding what God is and work in that and create that reality. Sow that pattern. Find out your calling and build that reality up. Sow patterns for that reality. Find out what God has called you to do, and then just sow some patterns for that. Keep sowing patterns to build that calling, because God's will for your life is better than your will. So let's say I wanted to sow some patterns, and I wanted to be a millionaire over here, doing whatever. I might end up dead trying to do my will. You do have free will, don't get me wrong. You have will within the script. You have some free will. You can alter the script to a degree. You have limited free will, because God it's appointed unto man once to die, and after that the judgment. God has a calling for everybody. That's why they say, what do you call yourself? That's your calling. And actually what's going to happen is you're going to find out that God's calling for your life is what you enjoy the most. What you enjoy is your calling, most likely. If you love to teach, that's your calling. If you love to listen to teachers, that might be your calling. If you love to do art, that might be your calling. Whatever it is. Whatever you enjoy doing, that's probably your calling. Why would you want to do something that you're miserable in? Yeah, you might have to sacrifice for a season. Everybody's got to sacrifice at times. I like driving with Uber some part-time, but I wouldn't want to do it full-time. I could if I had to for a while. I get to talk to people. There's some people that can hear you in the real world. I was in shock last weekend. I was like 4 people. I said something about meditate. I said I cut the music off 20 years ago. I cut the TV off and the TV off 20 years, music about 5 years. And they said, what? I said, yeah, I just do meditation 24/7. I'm not a guru. I don't act like the guru. I don't sit in a corner and just say, oh. I get my stuff done, but I don't listen to noise. I'm thinking, as I'm working, I'm thinking. As I'm traveling, I'm thinking. As I'm paying a bill, I'm thinking. Everything that I'm doing, I'm comparing it with previous knowledge and previous experiences, and I'm breaking it down into parts, which I already know what everything is. So I'm just kind of chilling. Took me a long time to get here. This one lady, I told her, I said, she says, how can I hear people's thoughts right before they're going to say it? I said, because in the spirit realm is oneness. That's unity. In the natural realm is division. I said, your mind is spirit. Be renewed in the spirit of your mind. I said, it's instantaneous in the spirit. But the purpose of 3-dimension is to birth in that mind. She had some kind of tragedy, I don't know. I think she probably tried to kill herself or something, the way she was talking. She was on some kind of drug or something. It knocked her back to reality, it looks like. Here's the object lesson. She was in the back seat, so I took this water bottle. It wasn't this one, but it was another one. I said, see that cap right there? I said, what do you see when you see this? A water bottle? She said, yeah. I said, I see more than a water bottle. See that cap? That means just the captain of your ship. When you turn it over, it looks like a ship. I said, see the curves? That represents the sine wave, or the female. the cap or the captain represents the boss or the captain of the ship or the man, the head of the house, whoever's running the business, you know. And I said, we all start out in the horizontal plane, the flesh mind. And what you went through with whatever you went through, I don't know what it was, but whatever you went to it. See, we're all moving this way. We're moving from this to this. The bottle looks like a body. The captain of the ship, ball cap is the head and body. I said, we're all moving from the flesh mind slowly to the spirit mind, upright. We're all born in the waves of the ocean. See, it looks the ship on the wave. Where we're trying to get to shore, and we're trying to be stable at the shore. That's why the word shore up in construction is shore up a building to make it stable. So the shore takes you off the instability and makes you stable, upright. I said, what happened to you? Whatever happened, I said, it knocked you up a little bit. So you're slowly moving away from the instability of life to stability. That's what's happening in your life. It's happening because it's happening in everybody's life. She was like, she said, I needed to, and I said, those thoughts, because you were on LSD or whatever it was that you were on, I'm glad you got off of it. I told her, I said, that's good. She said, yeah, I quit that. It was a mistake or something. I forget what she said happened to me. But anyways, I said, that's that, but God, I said the universe, I don't think she was a believer. I said the universe was trying to knock you out of that wave, that instability, to make you move towards being stable. And I said, have you noticed ever since then your life's becoming more stable? You like your job, you're going back to school, something you like, and you know. She said, yeah, everything's getting better. I really love my job. That was a pretty good conversation. I had like 4 of them last weekend. 4 conversations just like that, to almost to the same thing. And I said, I know what I'm saying makes me sound kind of crazy, and they said, no, I like to hear this. I said, but I'm telling you, if you think about what I'm saying, it'll all eventually come together. All the puzzle pieces will fit together. Speaking of that, we're all pieces cut off. And so as you watch a movie or a series or whatever, let's say you want to learn about time travel. So you watch all the movies about time travel. And all these writers are pieces of the pie. You listen to all the gurus you can. You use the Bible as your foundation. And you can decode time. And you realize time is not linear. We're actually time travelers right now. So it's inverted. It's upside down. I want to be a time traveler. You already are. You don't want to be a time traveler. You want to get outside of time. You want to live in eternity. I want to teleport. You already are teleporting. You don't want to teleport. It'll rip your body. You'll be ripped apart. What you want to do is realize you're already teleporting every time you take a step. The teleporting you're talking about will rip your body apart. Every moment is a teleportation. Anyway, it's up. The worldly wisdom's upside down. And if the worldly wisdom's upside down, that's why worldlings are upside down. And they are their own worst enemy. And that's a fact, Jack.